Hey there. Welcome to our channel. We're so glad you're here. Please like, share, and subscribe to join us for awesome content. Also share this video with your family and friends. Let's get started. You are made of stories, stitched silently in the spirals of your cells. Before you were born, your code was written not with ink but with life itself. Each breath you take is supported by a whisper of ancient biology. Let's begin by unraveling the delicate double helix of your being. You are more than flesh, you are memory in motion. As you settle into this quiet moment, let your awareness soften, gently turning inward. Feel the gentle rhythm of your breath, the quiet hum of your body. Tonight, we begin a journey not across vast distances or through distant galaxies, but into the most intimate landscape imaginable, the landscape within you. We'll explore the subtle, intricate design that makes you uniquely you. Imagine, for a moment, that your entire being is an exquisitely woven tapestry. Every fiber, every color, every intricate knot contributes to the whole. Some threads are brightly colored, visible to the eye. These are the qualities you recognize in yourself, your thoughts, your feelings, your outward expressions. But beneath the surface, there are countless other threads, invisible yet fundamental, working tirelessly, silently, shaping the very essence of who you are. These are the threads of your cells, the microscopic architects of your existence. Within each of these countless cells, trillions of them, working in perfect synchronicity, lies a profound secret, the complete blueprint of your being. This isn't a blueprint drawn on paper, but one written in the language of life itself. It's called DNA, the double helix, a spiral ladder of information. Think of it as an ancient, incredibly long scroll, intricately folded and tucked away in the nucleus of almost every cell in your body. On this scroll, your entire story is quietly encoded. Before you even took your first breath, before your eyes first opened to the light, this incredible genetic code was already complete. It was inherited from your parents, a unique blend of their own biological stories, stretching back through countless generations. This DNA isn't just a static instruction manual. It's a dynamic, living script that your body constantly reads and interprets, moment by moment. It guides the formation of every tiny hair on your skin, the intricate network of your brain, the steady beat of your heart. It whispers instructions for healing a cut, for digesting your food, for dreaming your dreams. Consider the simplest act, a single breath. As you inhale, oxygen floods into your lungs. This oxygen is then captured by tiny red blood cells, each a perfect, biconcave disc, precisely shaped to carry its vital cargo. The instructions for building these specialized cells, for synthesizing the hemoglobin protein that binds oxygen, for regulating the entire intricate process of respiration, all are laid out in the quiet wisdom of your DNA. It's an ancient whisper, an echo from the very first living beings that learned to extract energy from their environment. Your body remembers this fundamental, vital act through its genetic code. Every sensation you experience, every thought that flickers through your mind, is supported by this unseen genetic foundation. The ability of your eyes to perceive color, your ears to discern sound, your skin to feel a gentle breeze. These are all capabilities orchestrated by specific genes, finely tuned over eons. It's like a grand symphony playing continuously within you, with your DNA acting as the master conductor, ensuring every instrument plays its part at precisely the right moment. And this code is incredibly vast. If you could unravel the DNA from just one of your cells and stretch it out, it would be approximately 6 feet long. Yet, it's packed into a space far smaller than the eye can see, coiled and protected like a precious manuscript. Within this astonishingly compact space, billions of chemical letters, the A's, T's, C's, and G's are arranged in a specific sequence, forming genes, which are like individual chapters in your story. Some chapters dictate your physical traits, like the color of your eyes or the texture of your hair. Others influence more complex functions, like how your immune system responds to a challenge, or even subtle aspects of your temperament. But here's the most profound part. While your DNA provides the foundational script, it is not a rigid destiny. It's more like a living poem, continuously interpreted and re-expressed. Your experiences, your environment, your choices, these interact with your genetic code in fascinating ways, influencing which parts of the poem are read aloud and which remain a quiet whisper. This intricate dance between your inherited blueprint and your lived experience creates the unique, evolving narrative that is you. So, as you breathe slowly and deeply, remember that you are more than just flesh and bone. You are a living archive, a walking, breathing testament to billions of years of biological memory. Each cell within you holds a fragment of this ancient text, silently working, weaving the threads of your existence into the present moment. You are a masterpiece of intricate design, a story waiting to unfold. And as you rest, consider this. What stories are your cells silently writing right now, in the quiet depths of your being? Beneath the warmth of your skin, beneath the quiet rise and fall of your breath, an ancient language hums. It does not speak in words, but in patterns. It does not shout, but it never sleeps. It's the language that writes you, letter by letter, silently and patiently, in the deepest corners of your cells. This language uses only 4 characters, A, T, C, and G. Adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. Just these 4 endlessly reshuffled, rearranged, repeated, like a lullaby made of just 4 soft notes. Simple but infinite. You might imagine these letters not as cold chemicals, but as old storytellers seated around a fire. They pass the tale of your life between them. A pairs with T, C pairs with G. Always, faithfully, as if they are holding hands across the spiral staircase of your DNA, keeping each other company, never letting go. This spiral, the double helix, spins gently in nearly every cell in your body. Turns not just through space but through time. The same pattern, the same alphabet has written the wings of birds, the roots of trees, the stretch of whales, and now. You. Imagine unraveling this thread. If you stretched just one of your DNA strands from end to end, it would be nearly 2 meters long. And yet, it fits inside something so small you cannot see it. Folded, curled, protected. As delicate and as dense as a poem hidden in the lining of your coat. And the sequence, the exact order of those letters is what makes you, you. Tells your body when to grow, how to see, where to bend, when to heal. The shape of your fingertips. The way your blood knows how to clot. The way your body knows what is you and what is not. This is your genetic script. It does not command like a machine. It whispers like a guide. Not everything is predetermined. Many things respond to the winds of life, the environment, chance. But still, the blueprint hums beneath it all. And the magic is not just in the letters, but in their rhythm. The same way a composer arranges just a few notes into endless symphonies, nature composes from these 4 building blocks the vast orchestra of life. The instructions for your body are stored in 20,000 or so genes, small stretches of code. Each gene is like a recipe. Some are long, some are short, all are meaningful. Let's picture a gene like a recipe card tucked in a drawer. When your body needs something, a protein, an enzyme, a response, it pulls out the card, reads the code, and gets to work. These recipes are read by little molecular machines called ribosomes, which translate the language of DNA into the language of life. Function, form, movement, repair. And these recipes are specific to you. Of all the billions of people on Earth, no one has the exact same sequence of A's, T's, C's, and G's as you do. You are a singular edition of a universal alphabet. And yet, most of your code is shared. You and every person around you share about 99.9% of your genetic code. Only 0.1%, a mere handful of differences among millions of letters, gives you your unique features. The shade of your eyes, the cadence of your voice, the strength of your heart. Such tiny differences, such vast individuality. Even more astonishing, you share about 98% of your DNA with chimpanzees, about 85% with mice, nearly 60% with bananas. Life does not reinvent itself. It recycles, it reuses, it rearranges. All of life sings from the same 4-letter sheet music, just in different melodies. And what of the rest of your DNA? Only a small portion is made of genes that code for proteins. Loving this? Hit that subscribe button to keep up with our videos. Also share this video with your family and friends. The rest, once thought to be junk, now hums with mystery. Some regions control how other genes behave. Some may carry memories from long-forgotten ancestors. Some sit quietly, doing nothing, or perhaps doing something we don't yet understand. You may wonder, how does your body read all of this? It doesn't all at once. Like a library, it selects what it needs. In your eye cells, it reads the chapters on light and color. In your stomach, it reads the recipes for digestion. Every cell holds the full book, but each reads only its chosen page. And sometimes, tiny changes in a single letter can shift everything. A misplaced A, a dropped G, and suddenly a cell can't repair, or a protein misfolds, or a disease takes root. It is a reminder of how fragile the balance is, but also how beautiful. For even in its fragility, this system sustains you. Your body does not need to consciously read this code. It flows beneath thought, beneath language. Your cells are fluent in it and always have been. It is your first language, older than memory, deeper than words. And as you lie here, still and soft in the dark, your DNA continues its gentle song. In the quiet of your bloodstream, your alphabet repeats itself over and over, like a lullaby no one taught you but you always knew. You are made from this music. You are the listener and the song. You may not feel it, but this song has been passed to you, from your parents, and their parents, and theirs, like a handwritten letter passed down through generations, edited gently over time. A letter written in 4 characters, telling the oldest story we know, the story of life. And somewhere inside that story are the scribes, quiet enzymes, delicate as candlelight, who tend to your code with timeless care. They read it, copy it, mend it, preserve it word by word, base by base. Even in sleep, they are awake, and they're ready to show you how your story stays alive. Your body is not still, even in sleep. Beneath the hush of your breathing, within the calm rhythm of your pulse, a quiet work continues. Deep inside your cells, there are caretakers, tireless, invisible, who never rest. They do not speak, but they write, not with pen and ink, but with purpose and precision. These are the molecular scribes of your DNA. Imagine a candlelit chamber tucked inside every cell, where these tiny scribes gather in silence. Their world is one of loops and coils, of ladders made of light and chemistry. Their task is sacred, to read, copy, and protect the script that makes you whole. Each time your cells divide, to heal a wound, to grow a hair, to replace old skin, they must first duplicate their DNA. That means taking 3 billion letters and making a flawless copy. Not once, not twice, but trillions of times across your lifetime. It's a breathtaking act of trust and of skill. At the center of this process is a delicate machine called DNA polymerase. Think of it as the master scribe, sliding along the double helix like a finger across braille, reading one strand and building its partner, base by base. A meets T, C meets G. Always, faithfully, carefully. But even this master makes mistakes. About once in every 100,000 letters, a wrong one is placed, a mismatch, a small stumble in the song. But the body is wise. It has editors, too. Other enzymes, proofreaders, follow closely behind, checking the work. They feel the shape of the DNA, searching for bumps, mismatches, discomfort in the structure. When they find a flaw, they pause. Snip, replace, smooth, continue. These tiny editors do their work in near silence, like monks restoring ancient scrolls. Each correction is a quiet vow. The story will go on. You never notice this, not consciously. But every second, your cells perform this ritual of reading and rewriting, of copying and correcting. You are alive because this process holds. And when damage happens, from sunlight, from chemicals, from time itself, other scribes step in. These are the repair enzymes, skilled in mending broken strands. Some splice out damaged sections and fill them with clean code. Others bridge gaps or weave strands back together. Like expert weavers stitching torn fabric, sometimes the damage is too deep. Sometimes the scribes can't keep up. But more often they do. Quietly, perfectly, constantly. And what about the parts of your DNA that don't code for proteins? The stretches of silence between the words, once dismissed as junk? Even here, the scribes are careful. These quiet regions often hold switches and signals, guiding when a gene should wake up or go to sleep, like a conductor guiding an orchestra's tempo. These regions, too, are watched over. It's humbling, isn't it? To realize that right now, this very moment, there are millions of tiny minds working within you without your awareness, without your command, preserving you, rebuilding you, remembering you. They do this not because you ask, but because that is what life does. Preserves itself, protects its script, endlessly. And sometimes these scribes don't just copy, they evolve. When a mistake slips through and isn't caught, and if that mistake doesn't harm but instead helps, gives you sharper vision, stronger bones, better resistance, it might be kept, passed down, written into the next edition of the human story. This is evolution, not a grand leap, but a quiet process of writing and rewriting. Not a storm, but a drift, a ripple in the genetic sea, a chance letter that becomes a word, then a sentence, then a legacy. You are the latest draft of that ongoing work. But not all changes are kept. Some scribes are too tired. Some chapters fall out of balance. When repair fails and cells multiply without care, disease may follow. Cancer can begin with just one wrong paragraph, repeated too many times. But even in these moments, your body does not give up. Continues to write, to mend, to resist. And sometimes your cells choose silence. When a cell knows it is too damaged to go on, it may choose apoptosis, programmed cell death. Quiet goodbye, not with violence but with grace. A decision to preserve the whole by letting go of the part. Even that is part of the story. So much happens beneath your awareness. So much care. And you, lying here warm beneath the covers, are unaware of the tireless effort keeping you whole. The scribes do not sleep. They hum in the background. They are the reason your eyes open in the morning. The reason your skin renews, your heart heals, your body remembers itself. They do not ask for thanks. They do not need recognition. But they are there, gentle stewards of your genetic truth. And as they work, you float. You drift deeper into the sea of yourself. You realize there is more to your DNA than instruction. There is history, memory, inheritance, a whisper of those who came before, echoing in your cells. Their joys, their fears, their survival, all written in your blood. And perhaps that's where we go next. Each cell in your body, small, silent, unseen, is a library. Not a library with shelves and dust, but with spirals and memory. Not a library of books, but of code, and every page is written in you. In the center of each cell is the nucleus, like the grand reading room of an ancient archive. Inside it lies the DNA we've come to know, long, winding, full of stories. This is your genome, your personal encyclopedia. And though it's microscopic, it holds everything your body has ever needed to know. Every eye color, every fingertip ridge, every cell's purpose and every timing cue. All encoded, cataloged, and stored. Imagine this. The full length of your DNA, if unraveled, would stretch for 2 meters. Yet somehow it folds gently, elegantly, into something smaller than a speck of dust. It does this not with force, but with grace, winding around protein spools called histones, twisting into loops, and coiling into chromosomes. All of it tucked away in the vault of the nucleus, quiet but ready. There are 46 of these chromosomes in most of your cells, 23 pairs. Half from your mother, half from your father. Together, they are the chapters of your genetic book. And each gene is a page, a recipe for building part of you. Let's walk slowly through this molecular library. Imagine the strands of DNA unfurling in soft light, each one marked with silent bookmarks. Some pages are dog-eared from frequent reading. Others stay closed for years, waiting for the right moment, the right signal to be opened. In your heart cells, the library opens the instructions for pumping blood. In your skin, it reads the passages for protection and touch. In your eyes, the code for color, focus, and light. Every cell has access to the entire library, but each reads only what it needs. like a musician choosing only the notes for their instrument, while the full symphony remains unseen. The order is astonishing. Despite the apparent chaos, your cell's inner world moves with elegant timing. Transcription begins where the code is copied into RNA. Translation follows where that message becomes a protein, a function, a moment. Every second, millions of pages are being read, copied, turned into something living. And not all genes are active all the time. Some lie dormant, silent, waiting. Others flicker on and off depending on your environment, your experiences, your needs. This is gene expression, a kind of conversation between your body and the world. The library responds. It adapts. It listens. If you live at high altitudes, genes that help your blood carry oxygen are read more often. If you're injured, the library rushes to pages for clotting, repair, healing. If you're cold, it opens the chapter on thermal balance. Your body reads itself according to your story, moment by moment. But like any ancient library, this one holds mystery too. There are stretches of your DNA that we still don't understand. Long passages with no clear code. Are they echoes of old genes, long since retired? Are they switches, regulators, hidden signals? Are they stories from ancestors we've forgotten how to read? Science is still learning how to interpret the full collection. And beyond human cells, there are microbes, tiny organisms that live inside you, especially in your gut. They, too, have their own libraries. Their DNA influences digestion, immunity, even mood. Together, your cells and theirs form a shared archive, a collaboration of life woven in code. You are not just a person, but a system, a living library within libraries. Each time a cell divides, the entire archive must be copied. A task so enormous, and yet it happens millions of times a day without fanfare. Sometimes errors occur. Sometimes volumes are lost. But for the most part, your body preserves its archive faithfully, page by page. And when cells age or die, their libraries quietly close. Their information is no longer needed, so they fall silent, like books placed back on the shelf for good. But the story continues elsewhere. New cells form. The library is rebuilt. The legacy is carried forward. Your DNA is not just a script. It is a memory, a continuity, a gentle persistence of pattern and instruction. It is astonishing, really, that every part of you began as one single cell, one nucleus, one set of books, read in the right order at the right time. That single cell became your eyes, your lungs, your dreams, your voice, all by reading the code. Even now, as you lie here, every cell is quietly keeping your place in the story. The library inside you is never dark. Its lamps are always lit. And as you drift further into sleep, you might begin to wonder, if this code can hold the blueprint for a body, might it also carry something older? Something inherited? Could it hold not just how to build a person but who came before you? You are not alone in your body. You carry voices, not loud ones, but quiet echoes. They live in your blood, tucked into your chromosomes, folded inside your cells like pressed flowers in an old book. Each drop of your blood is a time traveler. It holds the memory of those who walked before you, of hands that built fires in the cold, of eyes that scanned the stars long before city lights touched the night, of feet that crossed mountains, deserts, and oceans, all so you could be here now. Your DNA is not only a blueprint for your body. It is a record, a lineage, a letter from the past, passed down not in ink, but in life itself. Let's begin with something small, mitochondria. They are tiny engines in your cells. They power everything you do. But long ago, they were free-living organisms. Billions of years ago, they entered the cells of another being and stayed. A truce, partnership, a home. Since then, mitochondria have powered the evolution of life, and they've kept a special secret. They have their own DNA, separate, ancient, and it is passed down only from your mother. That means, inside you is a thread that traces unbroken through your maternal line. Your mother, her mother's mother, all the way back. This thread doesn't carry memories the way a story does, but it carries instructions, survival strategies, tiny whispers of resilience. And then there is your Y chromosome if you carry one. It travels from father to son like a surname carried in code. It, too, bears a thread, a fragile, persistent flame of ancestry. From father to father to father again. Both lines, maternal and paternal, stretch back not just decades, but tens of thousands of years. Now imagine, inside your cells are clues to migrations that happened before history was written. Modern science can read these clues. Geneticists have mapped how ancient humans traveled out of Africa, across Asia, into Europe, over ice bridges into the Americas. Your blood knows more geography than your passport ever will. You may have DNA from Neanderthals, those quiet cousins who lived in caves and painted walls with ochre. You may carry genes that helped your ancestors survive ancient plagues, or ones that made them more likely to store fat, to conserve energy, to survive famine. What helped them once still hums in you, and your immune system, your silent guardian, is shaped by every disease your ancestors endured. Your ability to fight, to heal, to resist, it is not accidental. It is a long inheritance, carved by challenge, encoded by experience. Even your senses may carry memory. The way your nose crinkles at bitter smells, an instinct that once warned of poison. The way your skin shivers at a sudden sound, a signal once crucial in the night forests of our past. You are full of instincts you never learned, because someone long ago lived long enough to pass them on. And while your DNA carries deep similarity to all other humans, more than 99.9% shared, the variations in that last tiny fraction are scattered across populations like stardust. Some groups have genes that protect against altitude sickness. Others are better suited to digest certain foods. Your code holds the fingerprint of the land your ancestors walked. You are not just descended from one people, one place. The farther back you go, the more connected we all become. Your ancestors were likely many things. Farmers, nomads, storytellers, fighters, healers, poets. Your blood is a blend, not a line but a web. And if you listen closely, you can almost feel it. The pull of ancient footsteps, the thrum of drums you've never heard, the call of fireside songs that your bones still remember. You may never know their names, but they are in your jawline, your heartbeat, the rhythm of your breath. You are the living proof of their existence. Even the pain they carried may not be fully lost. Some scientists now believe that epigenetics, tiny chemical tags placed on your DNA, may carry the echo of trauma through generations. If your ancestors lived through war, famine, or slavery, those experiences may have altered the way their genes express themselves. And those patterns may still ripple softly in you. This doesn't mean you are trapped by the past. It means the past is part of you, like the grain in wood or the roots of a tree. You are not only your own story, but the continuation of many others. And still you are unique. Though billions have lived before you, none have had your exact combination of DNA. No one has your precise eyes, your specific fingerprints, your laugh. You are a new verse in an old song. The melody is familiar, but the voice is yours alone. And as you lie here, breathing gently, remember this. You are not simply from the past. You are its vessel, its living archive, its unfinished sentence. And there is more to uncover still, because the letters in your DNA are not fixed. They shift, they change, sometimes by accident, sometimes by necessity. And those changes, those tiny mistakes, may be the very reason life keeps evolving. So now, let's follow the thread of imperfection and see how life, in all its beauty, sometimes writes in error, and how even a flaw can become a gift. Even in the most beautiful stories, there are misspellings. A dropped letter, a smudge of ink, a phrase that doesn't land just right. And yet, those mistakes don't always ruin the story. Sometimes they make it unforgettable. So too with you, in your DNA, that long, winding sentence that writes your body into being. Small errors appear from time to time. A letter swapped, page duplicated, a note misplaced in the quiet song of life. These are called mutations. And while the word may sound frightening, it need not be. A mutation is simply a change, a ripple in the pattern, a variation in the script. And without them, life would never grow, never adapt, never discover something new. Every cell that copies DNA risks making a small mistake. Despite the careful work of your silent scribes, those proofreaders and editors deep within you, some errors slip through. One in every 100 million letters, perhaps. Tiny, rare, but real. Some of these changes cause no harm. They're silent, like a different way of spelling the same word. Some have small effects, shifting a shade of eye color or the length of a finger. Others, more rarely, can disrupt how your body works, leading to illness or disorder. And yet, some mutations do the opposite. They help. They make something better. They give your body an edge, a new way to survive, to think, to reach. If your ancestors hadn't passed on those useful mutations, stronger bones, more efficient lungs, clever thumbs, wider brains, you wouldn't be here. Mutations are nature's experiments. They are not directed. They are not chosen. But every now and then, one opens a door. It was a mutation that let fish begin to breathe air. Another that gave birds feathers from scales. Another still that allowed primates to see in color, to grasp branches, to walk upright. Your ability to reason, to speak, to remember a melody, all are tied to tiny accidents long ago that were kept because they worked. It's a strange truth. The greatest leaps in evolution often begin with a small misstep. And not every mutation is ancient. New ones occur in you right now in your lifetime. Some you were born with. Some appear as your cells divide. Age, adapt. Many are never noticed. Others become part of you, part of your children, should you have them. Each generation is both echo and invention. And sometimes the same mutation can be both gift and burden. A gene that protects against one disease might increase the risk of another. A trait that helps in one environment may hinder in another. There is no perfect design. Only trade-offs. Only balance. And in this balance, your individuality is shaped. Your sensitivity to taste. The way your brain learns. Your resilience to pain. All are shaded by slight changes in your code. Edits in your genetic poetry. Even what we call genetic disorders, cystic fibrosis, sickle cell anemia, Huntington's disease, all come from a single, tiny change in the vast sequence of DNA. Just one base swapped or misplaced. Just one wrong instruction. But within these stories are lessons in strength. Families and individuals who carry these conditions also carry knowledge, insight, and endurance. They remind us, the value of a life is never reduced to a single letter in a code. You are not your mutations. You are how you live with them, how your body adapts, how your story continues. Sometimes, mutations are inherited. Sometimes they are new, what scientists call de novo. They appear spontaneously, like a shooting star across a quiet sky. These sparks of change are how evolution continues. Not in great leaps, but in slow ripples. A slight variation tested by life. If it fits, it stays. If it harms, it fades. If it transforms, then something entirely new can begin. And so the code rewrites itself. But your body has limits. Too many changes, too fast, and the system strains. That's why your scribes work so hard, to preserve the pattern while still allowing small moments of creativity. Even your immune system mutates on purpose. Yes, inside your bone marrow, special cells rearrange their DNA to create new antibodies. They shuffle, guess, test, all to defend you better. Your protection is built on controlled chaos. There is, in your biology, a trust in error. A trust that not everything needs to be perfect to be beautiful. That variation is life's canvas. That flaws are not just tolerated, they are necessary. In music, it's the unexpected note that makes a melody haunting. In art, it's the brushstroke gone sideways that adds soul. And in life, it's the imperfect gene that might one day save a species. So, as you drift tonight, remember, you are not the result of a flawless machine. You are the result of soft stumbles, of a billion years of guesses and corrections, of near misses that became miracles. You are the harmony of what worked and what almost didn't. And now that we've seen how life writes itself, mistakes and all, perhaps we're ready to wonder, can we write it too? Can humans now edit their own genetic code? Store memories not in books or minds, but in strands of living code? Your body is not only written by DNA, it may one day write with it. Already, the code beneath your skin holds memories of ancient wins and old mistakes. But now, human hands are beginning to press their own messages into this alphabet, into life itself. Science is learning to write in the language of a T, C, and G, not just to shape biology, but to store memory, intention, information. DNA, it turns out, is the most compact storage system known. Far smaller than a silicon chip, more stable than magnetic tape, able to last thousands of years if protected in the right place. Picture this. All the world's books, music, photographs, and films, compressed into a droplet tucked inside a thread of DNA floating silently in a vial of water. It's not science fiction. It's already happening. Researchers have encoded digital files into DNA, songs by Miles Davis, silent films by Chaplin, even entire books. Each letter of a digital file, ones and zeros, can be translated into combinations of A, T, C, and G. The process is delicate, but once written, the code can be read again decades later as if no time has passed. DNA doesn't forget. In 2012, a team encoded an entire book, including images, into a single strand of DNA. In 2016, they stored a full operating system and a short film. More recently, they've encoded massive data archives, shrinking what would take up rooms of computers into something the size of a pinhead. And unlike digital drives, DNA needs no electricity, no batteries, just time, just care, just silence. Imagine, someday, holding a vial that contains the works of Shakespeare, the maps of Earth, the voices of people long gone, all inside a microscopic helix. It's not just poetry now, it's technology. But there is more, because the power to write into DNA is not only about saving files. It's about rewriting life itself. With tools like CRISPR, scientists are beginning to edit DNA with precision, like editors correcting a paragraph or sculptors reshaping a form. They can silence a faulty gene, insert a healthy one, even design new sequences never seen in nature. The implications are vast: healing diseases, preventing inherited conditions, tailoring medicine to your genetic code. But it comes with questions too. Who decides what should be changed? What is health? What is identity? When we begin to write our own instructions, we are no longer just readers. We are authors. And some scientists are going further still, asking whether DNA might be used to record experiences, not just traits. Can a living cell record a memory? Can neurons write their story into DNA as we live it? Early experiments suggest yes. Synthetic biology has created bacteria that store information about their environment in their genetic code, like a living logbook. We are, perhaps, at the beginning of writing our lives into life itself. Not only in journals, not only in films or paintings, but in the body, in strands that can replicate, evolve, and endure. It's dizzying and wondrous, and like all powerful tools, it calls for care. Because DNA is not a machine. It is a language. It has rhythm, intention, nuance. If we write carelessly, we risk disrupting the poetry already written. But if we write with respect, if we write with harmony, perhaps we can add to the story, not erase it. Imagine, one day, recording a message to your descendants. Not in a letter sealed in paper, but in a strand of DNA woven into the stem of a tree or the petal of a flower or the blood of a family line that hums softly with your voice, long after your words are gone. You would not just be remembered, you would be read. And so, as you lie still in the quiet of this evening, your mind might begin to wonder, if we can write data into DNA, can DNA itself be the library of all life's knowledge? Not just human knowledge, but evolution's memory? Might there be a tree that holds not just branches of biology, but the entire family of living things, traced through the spirals of code all the way to the beginning? What if your strand of DNA is not just personal, but a leaf on a much larger tree? What if you could write your story into DNA like words into a book? Scientists are now encoding music, movies, even poetry into living cells. We'll drift through this living data, where Shakespeare can sleep in a strand. DNA as a hard drive, soft and humming. Is the future written in flesh? As you settle deeper, imagine the most intricate library, not of paper and ink, but of life itself. A library where every book is a living cell, and every story is woven into the very fabric of existence. Tonight, we journey into a realm where the boundary between information and life blurs, where the whisper of a poem can be etched into the helix of DNA. Think of the words you've read, the melodies you've heard, the images that have danced before your eyes. Now, imagine if these could be more than just ephemeral thoughts or digital signals. Imagine them becoming a part of something alive, something that breathes and grows. This isn't the stuff of science fiction anymore. It's a quiet revolution unfolding in laboratories around the world. Scientists, with a precision that feels almost like magic, are learning to write with light and code, not on screens, but within the very essence of life's blueprint. They are taking the digital world, the zeros and ones that define our modern age, and translating them into the language of DNA, the A's, T's, C's, and G's that spell out life itself. Consider a simple photograph, perhaps of a beloved landscape, a quiet forest bathed in twilight, or a gentle stream flowing over smooth stones. This image, when captured by a camera, is transformed into a mosaic of tiny dots, each a specific color, a unique shade. In the digital realm, these colors are represented by numbers, and these numbers by sequences of those familiar zeros and ones. Now, picture taking that intricate sequence and transcribing it, letter by letter, into the biological alphabet. It's like translating a complex symphony, note by note, into a new organic score. Each digital bit becomes a specific DNA base, meticulously placed in a long, delicate chain. This process is remarkably elegant. Imagine a microscopic pen, guided by light, carefully placing each molecular letter onto a growing strand. It's a dance of chemistry and light, where information, once abstract, takes on a tangible, biological form. The light acts as a sculptor, shaping the very molecules, coaxing them into the desired arrangement. With each flash, a new piece of the story is laid down, a new fragment of data woven into the living tapestry. Why would we want to do this? Think of the sheer volume of information we generate every single day. Gigabytes upon gigabytes of memories, observations, creations. Our digital storage solutions, while vast, have their limits. They require energy, they can degrade, and they are susceptible to the whims of technology. But DNA? DNA is an incredibly dense and stable storage medium. A single gram of DNA can theoretically hold all the data in the world. It's an almost unimaginable capacity, a microscopic universe of information. And unlike a fragile hard drive, DNA is self-replicating. When a cell divides, the encoded information is copied, faithfully passed down through generations. This means that once a piece of information is written into DNA, it becomes a part of a living legacy, silently duplicating itself, preserving its message for eons, long after our servers have turned to dust. Imagine a book that can make copies of itself, not with a printing press, but through the very act of living. So, scientists are not just storing data. They are embedding it within the current of life. They are taking the entire works of Shakespeare, for instance, those timeless verses that speak of love and loss, joy and sorrow, and gently, with light and code, transcribing them into the language of genetic material. Suddenly, Hamlet's soliloquy is not just ink on a page or pixels on a screen, but a sequence of bases nestled within a strand of DNA, perhaps within a tiny bacterium quietly existing, ready to be read again whenever desired. Or consider a favorite piece of music, a melody that brings you peace. That intricate arrangement of notes and rhythms, translated into digital code, can then be retranslated into the elegant architecture of DNA. The hum of a cello, the trill of a flute, the deep thrum of a drum, all held within the silent, living library of a cell. This isn't just about preserving data. It's about giving it a new form of immortality, a biological resilience that transcends the limitations of our current technology. This journey into writing with light and code feels like stepping into a dream where information breathes. It's a profound shift in how we conceive of data, transforming it from an abstract concept into something intrinsically linked with the very essence of life. As you drift deeper into this idea, consider the implications. If we can write into DNA, what else might we be able to write? What new stories, what new forms of knowledge, what new possibilities might be quietly waiting to be inscribed within the living world? We are just beginning to learn the alphabet of this incredible new language. Every human is a branch and DNA is the root, stretching back through time. We'll explore your place on this great tree of life, from apes to algae. Through gene comparisons, our shared biology blooms. You are not alone. You are woven into a grand tapestry of kin. Every leaf on this tree whispers a common origin. As you breathe softly, imagine a colossal tree, its roots delving deep into the earth's ancient past, its branches reaching skyward, intricate and vast. This isn't just any tree. It's the tree of life, and you, in this very moment, are a gentle leaf on one of its countless branches. Tonight, we'll journey along the silent pathways of your DNA, tracing the invisible threads that connect you not just to your immediate family, but to every living thing that has ever graced this planet. It's a journey into your very essence, a quiet recognition of your place within the grand, flowing river of life. Think of your genome as your personal storybook, written in that beautiful four-letter alphabet we spoke of, TCG. Within its pages are chapters inherited from your parents and their parents, stretching back through countless generations. Each chapter tells a tale of survival, adaptation, and connection. But this book doesn't just contain your human lineage. It holds echoes of a much older, deeper narrative. If you could unfurl all the DNA in just one of your cells, it would stretch for about 6 feet. Yet, it's coiled and folded with such exquisite precision, fitting perfectly within a microscopic space. Within this incredibly compact library, a profound truth resides. Your story is inextricably linked to the stories of all other living beings. The commonalities are not just poetic. They are written in the very code of your being. Let's gently compare your storybook to that of a chimpanzee. At first glance, we seem quite different. Yet if you were to read our genetic chapters side by side, you'd find an astonishing similarity. Over 98% of your DNA is identical to a chimpanzee's. Think of that for a moment. The intricate dance of genes that makes a human hand so dexterous, or a chimpanzee's mind so curious, are almost perfectly aligned. It's like finding two versions of a beloved book with only a few minor edits, both telling fundamentally the same tale of primate life. This deep similarity whispers of a shared ancestor, a common branch on that immense tree of life, where our paths diverged millions of years ago. Now, let your mind drift further, beyond the primates, to something seemingly very different. Consider a mouse, scuttling through the quiet undergrowth. You might think your genetic story would be completely unrelated, but you'd be surprised. Roughly 85% of your genes have a counterpart in a mouse. Genes that control fundamental processes like heart function, brain development, or basic metabolism often look remarkably similar across these vastly different creatures. It's as if the ancient blueprints for life's most essential functions were designed once, and then subtly refined over eons for different purposes. This shared genetic heritage speaks volumes about the deep conservation of life's fundamental machinery. And what about a chicken scratching in the dirt? Even there, you'd find shared chapters. Around 60% of human genes have a recognizable counterpart in chickens. Think of the genes responsible for feather development or egg laying, or even the basic structure of their nervous system. While their outward form and behaviors differ wildly, the underlying genetic instructions still hold a striking resemblance. This isn't about one evolving from the other. It's about a common ancestor from which both birds and mammals branched off, carrying with them a foundational set of genetic instructions. Now, let's take an even more expansive leap. Imagine a banana lying ripe on your counter. Even this fruit, so distant from us in appearance, shares a surprising genetic kinship. Approximately 50% of your genes have a recognizable match in a banana. Genes that govern basic cellular functions like energy production or cell division are incredibly similar. It's a profound reminder that at the most fundamental level, all life on Earth employs many of the same elegant solutions to the challenges of existence. The energy currency of your cells, for instance, is the same molecule that powers a banana's growth. This intricate web of genetic similarity paints a breathtaking picture. It shows that you are not an isolated entity, but rather a tiny yet vital part of an interconnected biological tapestry. Every breath you take, every thought you think, every cell in your body carries the echoes of billions of years of evolution. Your DNA is a living archive, silently holding the history of life itself. Each shared gene, whether with a chimpanzee, a mouse, a chicken, or a banana, is like a fragment of an ancient, universal language spoken by all living things. It whispers of a common origin, a single point in deep time when the first self-replicating molecule began its journey, setting in motion the incredible diversification of life that we see around us today. You are a living testament to that unbroken chain of ancestry. You are literally woven into the very fabric of the biological world, a thread in a grand, continuous story. And as we consider this profound connection, the question quietly arises: what stories do these ancient, shared genes still tell us about our own nature and our place in the unfolding narrative of life on Earth? Do memories live only in the brain? Or can trauma, survival, even silence pass through genes? We'll explore epigenetics, how life leaves fingerprints on your code. The womb you grew in, the fears your ancestors faced, all may ripple through you. Not destiny, but shadow, soft echoes. Your body may remember more than you know. As you rest deeper, let's gently explore a concept that might at first seem like a whisper from a dream. The idea that memories, or at least their echoes, can exist beyond the intricate pathways of your brain. We often think of memory as a collection of personal experiences, stored in neurons, retrieved at will. But what if the story of your life, and even the lives of those who came before you, is also subtly inscribed upon your very being, not as direct recollections, but as quiet adjustments to your genetic code? This is the realm of epigenetics, a fascinating layer of biological memory that paints new hues on the canvas of your DNA. Imagine your DNA, that long, delicate double helix, as a beautifully written musical score. Each gene is a specific note, waiting to be played. Now, imagine that wrapped around this score are tiny, almost invisible chemical annotations. These annotations are like silent instructions that tell the orchestra of your cells when and how loudly to play each note. They don't change the notes themselves, but they profoundly affect the music that is ultimately expressed. These are epigenetic marks, subtle chemical tags that attach to your DNA or to the proteins it wraps around, influencing whether a gene is turned on or off, or dimmed to a whisper. Think of it this way: the sequence of your DNA is the story itself, unchanging and inherited. But epigenetics is like the reader's annotations in the margin, the highlighted passages, the dog-eared pages. These marks don't rewrite the story, but they can profoundly change how it is read, how certain characters, genes, behave, and which parts of the narrative come to the forefront. And here's the quiet revelation: these annotations, unlike the fixed story, can be influenced by your environment, your experiences, and even the experiences of your ancestors. Consider the journey within your mother's womb. For 9 months, you were intimately connected, a tiny universe within her. Every nutrient she consumed, every stress she encountered, every peaceful moment she experienced, created a subtle symphony of signals that bathed your developing cells. These signals weren't just passing whispers. They were silent instructions, leaving epigenetic fingerprints on your emerging genome. If your mother experienced significant stress during her pregnancy, for instance, certain genes in your developing stress response system might have been subtly tuned, differently, perhaps made more sensitive or less. It's not that you inherited her stress directly, but that your genetic volume knob for coping with stress might have been set to a different level, a quiet echo of her experience. This concept extends even further back in time, weaving into the stories of your grandparents and great-grandparents. Imagine a time of profound scarcity, perhaps a famine, that your ancestors endured. Their bodies, in response to this extreme challenge, might have made epigenetic adjustments to optimize metabolism, to store energy more efficiently. These adaptations, subtle shifts in how their genes express themselves, could then be passed down, not as a change in the DNA sequence itself, but as those quiet epigenetic annotations. So, while you don't consciously remember their hunger, your body might, on a deep cellular level, retain a subtle predisposition towards certain metabolic patterns, a shadow of their survival story. Or think of a time of profound peace and abundance that an ancestor experienced. Perhaps a period of sustained well-being where their bodies thrived. This too could leave epigenetic marks, subtly influencing genes related to growth, resilience, or even emotional regulation in subsequent generations. It's as if favorable conditions could write a gentle note of optimism into the genetic marginalia. It's crucial to understand that this is not destiny. Epigenetic marks are dynamic. They are not fixed for life. While some can be passed down, they are also responsive to your own experiences. The healthy food you eat, the calm environments you seek, the mindful practices you engage in, all of these can subtly influence the epigenetic landscape of your own cells. You are not merely a passive recipient of ancestral shadows. You are an active participant in shaping the genetic narrative that unfolds within you and potentially for future generations. This idea that experiences, even traumatic ones, can leave a biological trace beyond direct memory offers a new lens through which to view human resilience and vulnerability. It suggests that some of the predispositions we carry, the subtle ways our bodies react to the world, might be a quiet inheritance from those who walked before us. It's a profound sense of connection, a recognition that you are not just a product of your own life, but a vessel carrying echoes of a much larger, intergenerational story. As you drift with this thought, let the understanding settle. Your body is a library not just of your own experiences but of a lineage. The silence of deep time, the fears and triumphs of your ancestors, may gently ripple through the epigenetic landscape of your cells. It's not about knowing their specific memories, but about recognizing the subtle adjustments their lives made to the unfolding symphony of their genes. And this leads us to wonder, if our very biology can hold these echoes of the past, what else might our bodies be quietly, persistently, remembering without our conscious awareness? You are the latest edition of an ancient text still being written. In your DNA lies not only where you come from, but where we might go. We'll close our eyes and imagine a world where humanity's story is stored in every breath. Your existence is both question and answer, a flicker in the grand code. Sleep now, your cells are still writing. As you lie here, perfectly still, let your mind gently drift through the vast, quiet landscapes we've explored together. We've journeyed through the intricate dance of cells, whispered secrets of your internal universe, and even touched upon the profound connections that link you to every living thing. Now, as our journey nears its close for tonight, we arrive at a quiet realization. You are a living archive. You are not just a person. You are a culmination, a testament, a vibrant, breathing library of life's deepest wisdom. Imagine, for a moment, that every human being is a unique, exquisitely bound volume in a timeless, unfolding story, the story of humanity itself. Your DNA, that helical thread within each of your cells, is the very text of your volume. It holds chapters from deep time, echoing with the earliest sparks of life. It contains passages from the grand tree of evolution, linking you to ancient fish, to towering dinosaurs, to the very first single-celled organisms that whispered into existence billions of years ago. Your existence is a continuous narrative, stretching back through an unbroken chain of life. This genetic text within you is more than just a historical record. It's a living document, constantly being read, interpreted, and subtly re-edited with each breath you take. Think of the intricate proteins folding and unfolding, the myriad enzymes performing their precise tasks, the very energy that animates your body. All these are expressions of the silent instructions written in your genetic code. You are, in every moment, living out the story that has been handed down to you, a story of incredible resilience, adaptation, and profound complexity. And it's not just the ancient history that resides within. As we explored with epigenetics, your personal experiences, the environment you inhabit, the quiet choices you make each day, these are like footnotes and annotations added to your unique volume. They don't change the core narrative, the fundamental letters of your DNA, but they influence how the story is read and expressed. They subtly highlight certain passages, or dim others, shaping the way your inherited blueprint manifests in your daily life. Your cells are continuously listening, learning, and responding, writing new layers onto your personal archive. Consider the human race as a whole, a vast collection of these living volumes, each distinct, yet all sharing fundamental chapters. We are all variations on a grand theme, echoes of a shared origin, and participants in a common future. The diversity we see around us, the myriad faces, languages, cultures, and expressions of human spirit, are simply different editions of this same magnificent text. Each person adds a unique perspective, a new paragraph, a novel insight to the collective story. In this quiet understanding, there's a profound sense of continuity. When a new life begins, a new volume is opened, its initial chapters beautifully copied from its parents. But then, as that life unfolds, new pages are written, new experiences inscribed, new epigenetic annotations added. This is the miracle of evolution, not just over millions of years, but in the subtle, ongoing adaptation of each individual within their lifetime. You are not just a static record. You are an active participant in the ongoing process of life. So, as you rest, imagine the vastness of this living archive within you. It holds not only the secrets of where you come from, but also the seeds of where you might go. The capacity for innovation, for compassion, for understanding, for connection, these are all woven into the fundamental text of our shared humanity. Your potential, your unique contributions, are inherent in the genetic story waiting to unfold within you, shaped by your choices and experiences. This isn't about grand achievements or famous discoveries. It's about the quiet miracle of existing. Every cell in your body, humming softly in the quiet of the night, is contributing to this grand, living record. Your very breath, the beat of your heart, the gentle stirrings of your thoughts, all are part of this continuous act of writing. You are, in essence, a walking, dreaming, breathing library, holding the echoes of countless generations and the potential for countless more. Let the weight of this profound connection settle over you, knowing that your individual story is intricately woven into the vast, timeless narrative of all life. You are a unique chapter, beautifully complex and deeply connected. And as you drift deeper into sleep, remember this: your cells are still writing, silently, patiently, adding to the incredible ongoing story that is you. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share. See you next time.